Hi, welcome to lesson 12, or this is inverse trigonometric functions. So we have 6 inverse trigonometric functions. The first one is the inverse sine function. So the inverse sine function, we have y equals sine raised to negative x, or you read that as y equals arc sine x, if and only if sine y equals x, where x is from negative 1 to 1 and y is from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. Or we could say that we could only get arc sine of x if x is from negative 1 to positive 1 and when y is from negative 90 to positive 90 degrees. So take note that we have here negative pi over 2, that's negative 90, and pi over 2, that's 90 degrees. Okay, next, we have the inverse cosine function. So, according to the inverse cosine function, we have y equals, you have your cosine raised to negative 1x, or we read that as arc cosine x. Okay, so this is y equals arc cosine x if and only if cosine y equals x, where x is from negative 1 to positive 1 and y is from 0 to pi. Now take note of the values for x and y, or the domain and the range of our inverse trigonometric functions. The next one is the inverse tangent and cotangent function. So for tangent, we have y equals arc tangent x if and only if tangent y equals x, where x is an element of all real numbers and y is from negative pi over 2 up to positive pi over 2. And for arc cotangent, we have y equals arc cotangent x. This will be equal to pi over 2 minus arc tangent x, where x is an element of a real number and y should be from 0 to pi only. Or that would mean for tangent, the value of y should be from negative 90 to positive 90 degrees. And for cotangent or arc cotangent, it should be from 0 to 180 degrees. For second and cosecant functions, or inverse second and cosecant functions, we have y equals arc secant x if and only if secant y equals x, where the absolute value of x should be greater or equal to positive 1 and y is an element of we have 0 to pi over 2, or it could be from pi to 3 pi over 2, or in other words, the absolute value of x here should be greater than or equal to 1, while y should be from 0, okay, and numbers excluding 90, so pi over 2 is 90, and we have 1 from 180 up to numbers less than 3 pi over 2, okay, that is 270 degrees. So for the cosecant or inverse cosecant, we have y equals arc cosecant x equals pi over 2 minus arc secant x, where x is an element of, you have here from negative infinity to negative 1, or it could be from 1 to positive infinity. And y is from 0 to pi, meaning y should be from 0 to 180 degrees only. Now, to make this clearer, let us have some examples. So, for this lesson, we will try to evaluate sine or arc sine 1/2, arc sine 3 square root of 3 over 2, arc cosine negative square root of 3 over 2, arc cosine negative square root of 2 over 2, arctangent square root of 3, and arctangent negative 1. So how do we do this? Let's have number 1. Now we will evaluate arcsine of 1/2. Now for trigonometric functions, to find the values or the values of trigonometric functions, what we do is we are given the angle and we will find the value. This time, it's the opposite or the other way around. We are given the value and we will try to find the angle that will give us this certain value. So basically, arcsine 1/2 is telling us which angle will give a value of 1/2 when you get the sine. Okay? So again, this is the reverse process. So we are now given the trigonometric value and we will find what angle will give us this certain trigonometric value. Now, there are many ways on how we can solve this. We could use the special right triangles. We have the 30, 60, 90, or we could also use our unit circle. So for these examples, we will be using the unit circle. However, you could also use the special triangles. We have the 30, 60, 90 triangle, and we have the 45 by 45 by 90 triangle. So we have here our unit circle. So again, the question here is, what angle will give the value 1/2 if we take its sine? Okay, so if you can still remember, sine theta is actually y over r, or since we're using the unit circle, this will be equal to y over 1, or that is y. So we will look at the values of y in our unit circle, and we will have to find which of these angles will give us the y coordinate, which is 1/2. So for y coordinates, we have here 30. The y coordinate is 1/2. And we also have 150 degrees, which has also a y coordinate, which is 1/2. However, we have to take into consideration the range of our arcsine function. So the range of our arcsine function is only from negative 90 to positive 90 degrees. So where is negative 90 and positive 90? So this one here is positive 90, and take note, 3 pi over 2 is coterminal with negative 90 degrees. Okay? So that means that the value that you should get should only be in these two quadrants. It should only be from quadrant 1 and from quadrant 4. Now take note, we have here two possible values. We have 30 degrees and 150 degrees. However, 150 degrees is not within our range. Therefore, our answer is 30 degrees. Therefore, we can say that sine or arcsine 1/2 is equal to 30 degrees, or that is equal to pi over 6. So our answer for number 1 is 30 degrees or pi over 6. So you could answer either in radians or in degrees, because since we're given the value, you could give either the radian or the degree form of your angle. Okay, next example, we have sine or arcsine square root of 3 over 2. Again, we take a look at our unit circle. So again, sine is we're looking for a value of y, or arcsine, we're looking for a value of y, which is square root of 3 over 2. So if we have square root of 3 over 2, okay, we have 60 degrees, which has the y coordinate, which is square root of 3 over 2. What else? So we also have 120 degrees, which also has the square root of 3 over 2 y coordinate. So our possible answers are 60 and 120 degrees. However, again, we go back to the range of our function. So take note again that arcsine, okay, should only be from negative pi over 2 to positive pi over 2. So that means again that it should only be from negative, this is negative pi over 2, and this is positive pi over 2. So your answer should only be in quadrant 1 or in quadrant 4. Now take note, 120 degrees is not within our range. Therefore, sine or arcsine square root of 3 over 2 is equal to 60 degrees. So we could say that arcsine square root of 3 over 2 is equal to 60 degrees, or that is pi over 3 in radians. Okay? Next, we have arc cosine negative square root of 3 over 2. Now, this time, this is arc cosine. So, for arc cosine, okay, take note that cosine theta is actually equal to x over r. Or if we're using the unit circle, radius is 1, so that will simply be x over 1, or that is x. Okay, so we will be looking for the x coordinate that has, okay, negative square root of 3 over 2 as its value. Now, take note, we have here negative square root of 3 over 2. For the x coordinate, we have here, we have this one, we have 210 degrees, and we have 150 degrees. Now, take note again that we have to always consider the range of our function. Again, the range of arc cosine is only from 0 to pi. So 0 to pi, that is only from 0 up to 0 to pi only. So until 180 degrees only. Now since 210 degrees or 7 pi over 6, okay, since 7 pi over 6 is not within our range, therefore we can say that arc cosine negative square root of 3 over 2 is equal to 150 degrees, or that is 5 pi over 6 in radians. Okay, so either you can answer 150 degrees or 5 pi over 6 in radians. Okay, next example. We have arc cosine of negative square root of 2 over 2. So, again, we will look for the x coordinate, which has a value of negative square root of 2 over 2. So, we have here, for negative square root of 2 over 2, we have 225 degrees. That's negative square root of 2 over 2. And we also have here, that's negative square root of 2 over 2. Okay. Ooh. Rather, we have, okay, we have it on the wrong side. 225 degrees. Okay, we have the x, and that's 135 degrees rather. Okay, so we have it. Negative square root of 2 over 2. So again, we take into consideration the range of our function. So the range is only from 0 to pi. So from 0 to pi only. Again, 225 degrees is not within our range. Okay, we only have until 180 degrees. Therefore, we can say that our cosine negative square root of 2 over 2 is equal to 135 degrees, or that is 3 pi over 4. Again, you could also use the special triangles. Okay, next example, we have tangent. So we have arctangent square root of 3. So for arctangent, take note that tangent is equal to y over x. Okay, tangent theta is equal to y over x. So for our arctangent here, we have to find two coordinates where if you divide y over x, it will give us square root of 3. So we have here, okay, possible values that could give us square root of 3. We have here for 60 degrees, this one, because we have square root of 3 over 2 divided by 1/2. That will give us square root of 3 over 2 times 2 over 1. Okay, that will give us square root of 3. Okay, so the pairing should be square root of 3 and 1/2. Or we could also have this one. We have negative 1/2 and negative square root of 3 over 2, because when we divide them, we have negative square root of 3 over 2 divided by negative 1/2. That will give us square root of 3, negative square root of 3 over 2 times negative 1/2, or times negative 2 over 1. Okay, that will still give us square root of 3. Again, however, we should consider that the range of arctangent is only from negative 90 to positive 90 degrees, or that is from negative pi over 2 up to positive pi over 2. Meaning it should only range from here. Okay, so since 240 degrees is not within our range, we can say that arctangent square root of 3 is equal to 100, or that is 60 degrees, sorry. That's 60 degrees, or that is equal to pi over 3. That's pi over 3 in radians. Okay, so next example. We have arctangent negative 1. Again, we have to find values or coordinates for x and y that when you divide them, it will give you negative 1. So if if the quotient is -1, that would mean that the coordinates should be the same and one of them should be negative. So it should be the same and one of them should be negative. Now, looking at our unit circle, okay, that could be this. We could have square root of 2 over 2, and we have negative square root of 2 over 2. Okay, when you divide, we have negative square root of, or we have 2 square root of 2 divided by negative square root of 2 over 2. That will give us square root of 2 over 2 times negative 2 over square root of 2. Okay, this will be cancelled out and you will have negative 1. Okay, the other one could be 135 degrees. Okay, you have negative square root of 2 over 2 and square root of 2 over 2. Okay. However, again, we will consider our range. Take note, it should only be from negative pi over 2 up to pi over 2. So, it should be only from negative pi up to positive pi. Okay, positive pi over 2. So, take note, 3 pi over 4 is not within that range. Therefore, it is eliminated as our answer. So, we will only answer, you only take, okay, arc tangent of -1. This should be, okay, take note, class, 7 pi over 4 is not within the range. Okay, it's not within the range of our given function. So, we have to find a coterminal angle of 7 pi over 4, which is in the range of our function. So, that is equal to, okay, the coterminal angle of 315 degrees is negative 45 degrees. Or negative 45 degrees, that is negative pi over 4. Okay, did you get that? So that is all for lesson 12, or inverse trigonometric functions. I'll see you again for the next lesson. Bye-bye!